Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion today. Remember that, oh, hi, Giovanni, that Minecraft is about all things well being, and mainly our main theme, the foundation of Minecraft, is that thoughts come first, followed by feelings, and then actions or behavior last, which means that in reality, that our thoughts literally dictate our lives. So that's what we're talking about here. And this is a good foundational discussion today because what I'd like to talk about, I think I forgot to say, did I say who I was? I'll say it now. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and what I'd like to sort of lead our discussion with today is to encourage you to stop rejecting yourself. Stop rejecting yourself. And I think it seems that it's so easy, and there's a reason it's easy because we're actually wired primally to more negative thinking from way back when we were, dodging saber-toothed tigers and such. And so to turn that around, have more of an it can be an uphill lift into positivity. Though here's the thing, like anything we practice, we never inevitably get good at. And when we've been allowing this sort of negative internal dialogue to just be like just a feedback loop, a hamster on a wheel kind of thing, it can, and depending how long you've allowed that to happen, and the word is allow, it may take a little bit more juice. So here's the thing. Also, just like anything else we learn to do, habit shifting, and learning how to cook, play the guitar, whatever, play soccer. Once we kind of get in the groove with it, it takes less to maintain it. So here's the thing: internal dialogue. Like I don't like this about myself. I've got a muffin top. I can't seem to lose the weight. My thighs are too big. I maybe you're a genetic female and you think you're too tall. You're 6'2". You're a genetic male and you're 5 feet. And which in our society can sometimes be challenging. It can be birthmarks, freckles, whatever. And also some larger things to deal with. My youngest brother-in-law, which I've mentioned on different episodes, is blind. For the most part, he's got a tiny bit of peripheral vision, but he's, for all intents and purposes, he cannot see, and that's the body he was born with. And so, really, we need to ask ourselves, what's the point of all this self-deprecating? Like, where's it going? Where is it going? Is the question. I can I can tell you also that we as human beings don't do anything unless there's some sort of payoff. So the clearest example is like, going to work and there's an external motivator, which is the paycheck. And also there's different payoffs. And that's just like an easy example. There's also payoff with what we would say to ourselves and emotionally. And payoff doesn't always have to be positive. People think that payoff has to be positive. No, it does not. Because if those of us who are born into a family that was dysfunctional, and we weren't treated well, and maybe not loved as much as we needed to be, whatever, we can become really, really comfortable with not being treated well. So the payoff in it is that it's comfortable, even though on some level we know it isn't healthy. We're not talking about healthy with this. We're talking about payoff. We will continue to do anything when there's payoff in it. In fact, sort of similar to that, self punishment is also a huge payoff. And you might be saying, oh, wow, it doesn't make sense. It really, really does, actually. If somebody grew up in a home, again, where they were mistreated, somebody can know that whatever they're doing isn't healthy. Sabotaging ourselves is a form of self punishment. We all know self sabotage is super common. And this is a way to punish ourselves. That'll teach me to try to be happy or try to be whatever successful in whatever way. And this is very, very reinforcing, actually. Okay, so this is where it's really important to remember that the foundation of Minecraft, which is to become the boss of your brain, that thoughts lead to feelings. Thoughts absolutely come first. So if we're thinking self-deprecating thoughts of I'm too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, whatever, that's going to lead us into feeling not enough, inadequate in whatever way it is that you're running, sort of running through the loop, the feedback loop. So instead, this is going to, again, might be a little bit of an uphill lift. In order to change that dialogue, number one is awareness, obviously, because we cannot do what we don't know. And then to even look in the mirror, if you can do that. That might be hard for some people at first, but and smile and just say, I like this about myself. Don't you look beautiful today? Don't you look handsome today? You look amazing in that outfit. You look it, or you can even get deeper if you can. If you can do it, great. Man, I love you. I love you, and say it right to yourself. And this is the way to start turning it around. So if you can do one positive affirmation per day, this is a really good start. I like this about myself. I like that about myself. Today, I did a good job with this. Today, I did a great job with that. Da, 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 da. Even if you have to fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. That is a psychological thing. And it works a large degree of the time. When we're not confident, we can pretend like we are. And lo and behold, we actually end up feeling more confident. So, what we're really talking about with the stop rejecting yourself is to land ourselves in a place of self acceptance. And we've been talking about this with value more on the YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, I'll put that link in the little blurb there. We've been talking a lot about that because none of the rest of anything can come together without self value. It just can't. And sometimes people say, "Oh, well, is all of this selfish?" No, selfishness. I'm going to borrow this one from Wayne Dyer. He talks about selfishness as being is sort of knowing or differentiating is when you're a burden to somebody else, or when you're burdening somebody else. When you are burdening somebody else, that's selfishness. If you are filling yourself up authentically, you are not only are you celebrating and embracing and accepting the gift of your own life. When people who are walking around, full of self-love, they are giving, 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 radiating all that positivity, not only to themselves but to the world. So selfishness is the exact opposite. That's sort of like attention seeking, conceit and arrogance is all that, ego driven stuff. If you're authentically taking care of yourself, authentically saying these positive affirmations to yourself, authentically accepting compliments, this is food for the spirit and benefits you and everybody around you. And so here's the thing, if you want to live the highest vibe, the highest version of yourself, self-acceptance is just essential. This is the body that I was given, whether it's too tall, too short, too this, too that. It doesn't mean we might not want to embrace exercising and things like that, though it's not with any kind of put down. I need to do this to not be so goal focused, to be process based. Process based. I'm starting a new exercise regimen because I love myself and I want to be healthier. I want to be healthier. That's it. Instead of my thighs are fat, my this, my that, my that, my this. Accepting that this body is the vehicle for our journey on this planet as divine beings. So it's absolutely not selfish to say all these wonderful things to yourself and land in a place of self acceptance where somebody can give you an authentic compliment and you just take it. In fact, I couldn't make this stuff up. I was outside just now working out of the house today, and it's a beautiful sunshiny snowy day, and our older neighbor came up, and I'm literally in mismatched pajamas and a fleece, and I have bed hair, no joke, because I'm doing a podcast and it doesn't matter except for now that I just told all of you. And this wonderful man down the road, he's an older guy, just brought the Christmas tree to his old Christmas tree for the goats, which is like cracked. I absolutely love it. And I just caught myself. I was like, oh, and my arms kind of just full of, sorry about the bed, making a joke. Sorry about the bed here, mismatched jammies. I caught myself doing it. And he said, are you kidding me? You look great no matter what you're wearing. He's just sweet. He's a sweet older man. And I just caught myself and I said, thank you. What a pleasure to have you around. Thank you. As far as you know, selfishness or being a burden, how Wayne Dyer said it. I think he said something like this, that think about it in the reverse. When people are self-deprecating outwardly around us, and really being, sheepishly declining authentic compliments and things like that, it drains the energy out of the room. And especially if you're on this path to be a high vibe, you're the highest version of yourself, your very best authentic self, we become way more sensitive to that. And to me, it's like repellent. I have a force field that goes up when there's negativity, 3 states away. To me, it's noise pollution or air pollution or something. I don't know. I'm not talking about authentically listening to a friend who's struggling, entirely different. I'm talking about just complaining and whining and self-deprecating language, and it's just draining. And if we go by Wayne Dyer's definition of selfish, even though the person isn't doing it on purpose, that's draining the energy out of the room. With self-deprecation is far more selfish than authentically filling yourself up with all kinds of love and acceptance and joy, and to really cherish yourself. You know how much I love that word, because it's love and acceptance merged. And then it's like, I feel like it's like when you watch a little kid open a Christmas present, and they just hold it, and the bow that they're savoring the bow, they're savoring the whole scene, and then they stare at it and just look at it, like, cherish yourself. Savor every minute that you've got. Savor your life minutes. And gosh, accept compliments. You got to do you. And you got to be you, accept you, and love you, if all the rest of every aspect of your life is going to come together to be your highest vibration of yourself. That is just it in a nutshell. And you know what? I was almost about to sign off there, and then realize that you've got to cap it off with this, because remember, all this talk about, the self-rejecting, self-loathing, self-deprecating, just not accepting and loving ourselves. Realize or remember that we teach other people how to treat us every day, even if we don't open our mouths. I mean, I'm sure all of you have met somebody, people that have a lower vibe, lower self-esteem, or they're kind of putting it out there to go ahead and walk all over them, which obviously a good person isn't going to take advantage of. Though we've talked about this in previous episodes, that even though a really good person isn't going to jump on that train, they might very unconsciously ask you your opinion last, and maybe not value that opinion as much. Maybe they've decided where to go for lunch for so and so's birthday, and they forgot to ask you. It's just because, and it's not even unintentional, but we teach people how to treat us. So if you don't like yourself, other people aren't going to like you either. It's just how it goes. And when you accept you, other people will accept you. When you're confident, other people will also sort of respond to that, and respond to boundaries. And it is just, I can't say enough about putting this first as far as where your life minutes are, is working on your own self-acceptance and self-value, because only then will the rest of your life fall in place. And only then, when this acceptance and love and this happiness, these things are in place, can you truly be successful, however you define that. And now I will say, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off on this spectacular day in Northern Vermont. Have a mindful, very self-accepting, self-loving day.